What an honor. Guess who just walked into J&J in the morning? The wonderful, the very talented Jeremy Piven is here. Yes, sir. Yes, Jeremy. Thank you so much for stopping by the show. How are you, sir?
I'm good, man. How are you guys?
Great. Good.
Yeah.
So excited to have you in Phoenix. I don't know how much you've been in Phoenix, but I always like to ask, past experiences, memories that you've had in this city. Tell us about your experience in Phoenix so far.
There's something called the toad, and it's pure DMT. And a toad, when you attack a toad, it secretes a venom that kills its predators.
Okay.
And so what they do is they take the venom, and I don't know if you know this, but they crystallize it, and then you can smoke it. And Mike Tyson told me about this.
Oh,
and
so
last time I was here, I smoked the toad, and it's all natural, and it basically gives you the feeling of death. So your spirit your spirit leaves your body.
Ego.
And you let go of ego, exactly. And Tyson was like, basically what happens is, no, seriously, his life has changed because of it. And he's youngest heavyweight champion and a trained killer, and he's become like a Buddha, and it's because of the perspective of things like the toad. And I took it here. There's a lot of great plant medicine here. Sorry, you asked me what I did
His
here last time.
Yeah.
No, this is an amazing story.
Yeah.
You know how many people
Super
come in and say like, well, I went to the Emperor, got some food.
Well, no, I know you were looking for small talk, but I just want to get real for a second. So, my mother passed away last month.
Yeah, I'm sorry to hear that.
No,
Sorry.
thank you, man. And I've been in denial my whole life that she would. No one wants to think about that.
Right.
For sure.
So I was at least prepared in terms of like, okay, she might be feeling these things.
Yeah.
Like her spirit is going to leave her body, and she's going to be hovering over the room. And so last time I was here, I got to go really, really deep, and I'll be unpacking this all on stage at Stand Up Live.
Wow, that's really cool.
Nice little turn. I went from my mom passed away, and we're all going to die someday, to come out and hear me laugh.
Right.
Well, I love that you turn something that happened in your life into something that you can share with the audience. And
Oh man, I unpack all that on stage. The fact that I do lines with my mom. I mean, I run lines. I run.
I love that.
Well, people don't realize that everything I did on Entourage as Ari Gold, I was running these lines with my mom. She's been my acting teacher since I was 8.
Oh, wow.
So I talk about that on stage, and so selfishly, people get a chance to see who I am, as opposed to just, aren't you Ari Gold? Like, because I can tell. I don't know if have you ever seen the show?
I've seen snippets of the show.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I'm not going to be one of those DJs like, I've seen every episode of the show.
No, I've never seen anything you've ever done, but
Okay,
I know
great.
that you like to yell very early in the morning.
I do. It keeps me awake.
That's why
Yes.
he's our first mind.
Yeah.
He has the energy we don't have.
Yeah.
Does that get annoying though for you? Like, you're out and about and people come up to you and say, Ori, or they're asking you about the show. I mean, because
No, but the reality is, I mean, that when people come up to you, it's like, oh wow, because
you're on the radio.
You appreciate and you're grateful for the work.
Sure.
And then it's like, if you're angry that people have seen the work, there's something wrong with you.
For
Yeah, that
sure.
makes
You know what
sense.
I mean?
That's
But
what you
with
signed
me,
up
it
for.
goes to another level. Well, they'll come up to me and they'll go, bro, I'm a douchebag because of you, bro. Because of you. Ah! And it's like, well, sir, I'm at the urinal right now, and you just smacked me. You know what I mean?
I get it,
So
yeah.
it can get a little awkward, and that's why it's up to you. It's up to me, like, to do as much work that's varied as possible. I've been working on a film for 15 years that'll come out this year called The Performance.
I want to talk about that.
Yeah, and that's when people, the reviews I've gotten are, this guy disappeared into this role. And the reality is I reappeared because this is closer to me than anything I've ever done, because people think I'm Ari Gold because I played it for 10 years.
Right.
Yeah.
And your mom helped come up with the story for the performance, right?
Yeah, she gave it to me. She had read it in the New Yorker, and it was a little short story, and she said, there's a great role in there for you, and man, was she right. Best role in my life.
Oh, that's
And so
cool.
it's an homage to her.
Wow.
That's awesome.
I'm excited. I know it's coming out later this year, right? We don't have an exact date yet, but we're going to get
We
this.
don't have an exact date, but if you come to Stand Up Live, but my God, what a great room that is.
I'm telling you.
Where is it, by the way?
Downtown.
Yeah.
Okay, I wanted you to say it and not me. But no, it's 4 shows this weekend, Friday and Saturday night, and it's just a great way to like hang out with a bunch of people and have them forget about everything.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's this pure escapism. And I talk about topical stuff, and it's not for everyone. You know what I mean? It's like, I just want to make people laugh.
For sure.
And if I reveal a truth that you don't agree with, but yet it's funny, we're just here to laugh.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? My mom had this saying growing up in my house, like, you can say whatever you want as long as it's funny.
Oh, well, man, if I had that pass in my
I
household,
like that.
honey, I would have avoided so many ass whippings back in the day.
Yeah, that's why I grew up in a black culture. I was the only white boy on my football team.
Okay.
And so I think that, to be honest with you, I think racism is when someone doesn't know about another culture. I think that's what it is. It's the blindness, the blind spot. But once you know about someone's culture, it's like, how can you hate someone?
Right.
Well, I
You need to
understand
know
your
them
culture.
better.
I grew up in it. We're getting deep this morning, by the way.
I hate that people shy away from racism in comedy because I feel like that's some of the best comedy, honestly. I mean,
That is,
people
yeah.
laugh about it amongst friends. You know, we'll have off-air jokes all the time, but then if someone says it to you, you're like, I'm offended. But then on stage, that's what I want to hear. Like, that's what's
Yeah.
going to make me laugh.
I think it's also a way to cope with
100%.
racism. It can be so negative,
Yeah.
but then comedy brings like not a light to racism, but a way that people can, like I said, cope with the issues that revolve around it.
That's true.
Yeah, and also I think one of the reasons why stand-up comedy is blowing up so much, to be honest with you, is people are confused right now. They're frustrated and they don't know what's going on. And stand-ups can kind of make sense of what's going on.
Yeah.
And that's kind of a little bit of our job to go, wait, what's really going on here? Let's talk about it.
Yeah.
My opener, CJ, is really, really funny. And he's this brilliant black comic, and the reason I call him a black comic right here is because he, as he's leaving stage, he says, "I'm his DEI hire." You know what I mean? Like, so he's making fun of himself when the reality
For
is
sure.
here in that spot, he's funny as hell, and he crushed it. But we have to be able to laugh at ourselves.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah.
Speaking of laughing about yourselves, I know, well, obviously you've played so many. I was just telling them right now, I've seen a lot of your movies. Actually, one of the funniest roles that I've seen you in, and it was like it's still one of my favorite movies now, is Rush Hour 2. And when you're like inside, you're talking about the crocodile skin.
Yes, buttercream, crack skin, buttercream.
was so
What's
hoping
below
that
the
you-
waist? Mystery meat. Let's go in. Hey, sweetness. Ooh, Lil Kim, let's pull some items. Yeah.
Literally, I was so hoping that you would do that because we watch this movie all the time. I love that movie. And seeing that you were coming in, I was like, I have to ask him to see if he still remembers the lines because that part of the movie is so funny to me. And I was like, oh my God. So I'm super excited to see the show too.
Thank you. Well, what's really funny about that is Chris Tucker and Jackie Chan, have this incredible franchise, and they needed a pop of comedy
Yeah.
there.
Right.
And so my only written line was "May I help you," and the rest of that was just improvised.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
So I had a great time, and you have to understand, Chris Tucker is really funny, and he also has a
Man.
background as a stand-up. So he was with me, but I'm looking at poor Jackie, and Jackie he speaks 114 languages, and I don't know if English is one of them. So I'm just, you know what I mean? I'm just going, buttercream, crack skin, buttercream. And he's going, what do you mean, the buttercream? Do you have hemorrhoids?
Obviously, with the incredible acting career that you've had, now, is it more rewarding to be on stage doing stand-up comedy? Is it a big transition from acting? How has the road been for you between doing the two of them?
They're both. It's so interesting because they both can inform each other. I become a better actor from doing stand up just because you're performing every night. There's no rust on you. But doing stand up, yes, I've been on stage since I was 8 years old, so I'm very comfortable up there. But the writing of the jokes. It's a daily practice.
Yeah, takes a lot of
it's like
work.
just before I walked in here, I was just pitching, 3 different jokes. And it's really fun because it never ends.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Someone said to Seinfeld, like, aren't you tired of this? And he's like, no. He's one of these guys where I can go up to him and I just ask these guys, the guys that came before me, for advice. And like, I'll say to him, how do you handle crowds? Like, he's a Jewish guy and he gets the Free Palestine protesters at his
Oh, wow.
in the middle of his show.
Yeah.
And I watched it. I said, how did you do that, man?
Yeah.
He said to this, they were going for, Free Palestine in the middle of a comedy show. And he said to them, you hear this crowd? You and I want the same thing. We're both looking for our audience. You're not doing well. They're laughing at me. You want to do this well. Like, so he basically, like, gave them the perspective they needed instead of getting angry and throwing them out.
Sure.
Right.
He's saying, you guys are looking for an audience, this is not your audience.
Yeah.
So it was kind of like genius. How do you? I mean, can you imagine getting heckled by someone as a human? Your first instinct is to be reactive.
Defend.
Yeah.
But he goes the other direction. I'm like, so I can go to the greats and go, how did you do that? And then they graciously unpack how they did it. So I'm very lucky.
Well, I like how you said that it's going to be very topical. I think that's some of the best comedy when you're talking about things going on right now. Is there anything specifically going on in the world right now that you'd love to unpack on stage?
I mean, there's. I don't want to.
Without giving it away.
Yeah, like people burning their Teslas. Let's talk about that.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean?
About fire.
You know what I mean? So I will unpack all that on stage.
All right.
Do you know what I mean? I can't give away these
I don't
bits
want you
right
to
now.
give away.
Are you good at like handling the hecklers though? Because if you're gonna be topical, then I'm sure that there's gonna be people that are going
just
to
gonna
say
get
something.
upset and want to like.
Well, yes. The reality is, it's all about reps. So since I was a kid, like I told you, my mom had that rule. You can say whatever you want in this house as long as you're funny. So I've been, your whole life you're trying, because the reality is, if something's funny, the reason why we all laugh in this room, we all come from different worlds, all of us. If we broke down our heritage, I'm looking at you guys, we all look different, but we all share the same laughs, because if I say something that's true, as a human experience, we're laughing because it's a shared truth.
Yeah.
Sure.
We connect
You know what I
with
mean?
it, yeah.
So if someone is laughing and then they're angry at me for laughing, like, well, let's talk about it. I want to talk about it. But at the same time, you just laugh. So it is funny because there's a truth there.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely.
And also, we shouldn't be ostracized, because it's a comedy show. I'm not running for office.
For sure. Yeah. You came here for a reason, and that's to laugh.
Yeah.
Do you like to pick on people like in the front rows?
I it's funny, I guess, because they know me as Ari Gold, and I played a character that is an equal opportunity offender. They assume I'm gonna pick on them, and I don't like making preemptive strikes, to be honest with you. I don't like shaming people. You know what I mean? If they come at me,
Sure.
they better be ready.
Yeah,
You know,
you got it.
like don't bring a butter knife to a tank fight.
You ready?
You know what I mean?
I love it.
If you start yelling stuff at me, I'm going to be very gracious and give you a chance to have a conversation. And then if you interrupt 3 times, that's the rule. Then the gloves are going to come off. You know what I mean?
I want to see.
See, look at that. She wants to see. People like, they want me to yell at them. It's very surreal.
I mean, because that makes for some of the best entertainment of the night, right? Because like you said, the gloves are going to come off. You're ready. You don't have to pull the card, but you're ready to pull the card. You got to pull the card.
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
Very excited. Desert Ridge Improv Thursday show, and then like you mentioned, there's 4 shows Friday and Saturday at Stand Up Live. Make sure you go and get your tickets. Jeremy Piven is a legend. You can see him live this weekend in the Valley. How can they find you, sir?
Well, I'm under Jeremy Piven with the little blue check.
There we go.
But if you guys mention Power, let's give them some free meet and greets.
Oh,
because you guys,
awesome.
I don't want you guys, because you're gonna look and all the meet and greets are sold out, so all the VIPs sold out. But listen, as you guys know from seeing comedy here, there's not a bad seat in the house.
There you go.
So no matter where your seat is, it's all good. That's why we play here, because it's intimate.
I love it, man. And it is very intimate. Again, Thursday show, Desert Ridge Improv, and then 4 Stand-Up Live Friday and Saturday. Jeremy Piven mentioned Power.
Yes.
And you'll get that free meet and greet to meet him, and then you'll see for yourself why he's great.
Awesome.
We get to hug it out, bitch. Can I say that on the radio?
You can say whatever you want.
Let's go.
All right, there it is. Jeremy Piven, thank you so much, sir. It's Power 98.3.